Well, good afternoon, guys. It's Friday night. Well, Friday afternoon. And have you ever had one of those days that you just don't feel like doing nothing? Today, today is the day. I was planning on going to the boat today. I even got the car loaded. I put some clothing away so I can stay overnight and probably take a shower over there at the marina showers, but just didn't feel like doing it. I just stayed on the computer and doing some research and stuff. I cleaned my hunting clothes with the scent killer and folded it and put it away. That 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 liquor really kills the scent. And I'm smoking one of my Cuban cigars that a friend of mine gave me. It's mild. It's not exactly. It's got a good aroma, but I prefer the darker leaf. This is a little more milder, but it's okay. It's a good afternoon. It's a short cigar that you're not gonna smoke 3 hours. I'm drinking my michelada. I also um, cleaned the some of the canvas on the camper and put everything away. On my last video, I think I mentioned that I was gonna start selling my backpacks, and I'm gonna start putting. I got 4 packs. I'm gonna sell the biggest one because I'm not doing the 7 day anymore. The extended stay, which it was a good pack, very comfortable. Plastic frame. I have it hanging up here, and I have another one on top of it. I'm not gonna start bringing things down, but I got very good packs, and the other three I have the Everly Stock X2. That's a very good day pack and a meat hauler. It's got the wings and the bottom strap, but the top strap you can put a good size couple of quarters in there and haul it out. You always want to take a pack with you, especially if you're alone. You're not going to be dragging a whole deer by yourself. That's going to be a killer, especially if you're going up a hill. So the other one is the Badlands. It's also a day bag, but I've used it to camp overnight. You can do 3 days very comfortable with it. It can pack almost just about everything you want to take, as long as you don't overdo it. Very comfortable too. It's got the aluminum rods inside, so it can take weight. But I don't really consider that one a meat hauler. Yeah, you can put the quarters, you can put the back straps in the back, and you can butcher some meat and put her in a bag and put it in the cavity there. Yeah, you can use it that way. I don't believe I don't think I loaded it with meat. I did the test with the X2, but I don't think I've done. And I did the test also with the big one. I forget the name. And then the last one I bought, which is I think is the best one of them all. It's the Mystery Ranch. That one you can compact it really flat. Just put your essentials on the side pockets, and yeah, you can throw some things on the top. And it's very comfortable. That's the best one. And then when you pop it out, you can load up a lot of meat in there. So that's the last one I used on my last backpacking trip. And let me tell you this: I love the backpack. I love the backpack, but I have to realize that I cannot do that by myself, because not because I can't do it, it's because if I do get a deer, it's going to be hard for me to bring it back. I'm going to have to do several trips. So if I'm going to go backpacking, I'm going to I'm going to have to take someone with me. And I'm going to another thing that came up when I went to the doctor and took an X-ray because of the pain in my hip. That it turns out that it was the shingles. It was coming back. It's already gone. When I look at the X-ray, it looked like it's less space between the femur and the calf, the cup. That you're supposed to have a certain amount of space. I noticed in the X-ray that it's less space. So I'm planning on making an appointment with my orthopedic doctor and showing my X-ray picture on the phone, or he's gonna take new pictures and then he's gonna tell me how many miles I got left on my hip. So something my friend said that kind of got me thinking. He said, Ray, what happens if you're out there alone and you get that pain again because of the something with the hip? You know, you're gonna be dragging yourself out for miles. And I said, you know what? I've had that in the back of my mind and didn't pay attention to it because I never had a problem. But now that I saw the X-ray, I'm having the second thoughts about it. You know, you can hunt, just don't push it. Now, on this last trip I did, and the guy I met, he says that he's in his 60s. There was a guy up on the mountain around where I was, but he went through the mountain, not through the road like I did. He was in his 70s. And then there was a guy hunting the lower road, and he was in his 80s, or he was 80. And I'm going, Jesus Christ. But, you know, if they don't have the hip problem, it's okay. It doesn't matter about the age. If you're strong enough, you can do it. It just depends on your hardware. You know, if it's everything it's 100%, then you got no problem. It doesn't matter the age. If you got the strength and everything. So, you know, I'm kind of tossing it back and forth. Now, there's one thing I could do that oh wait, now that we're talking about different ages, there's this guy that I met in Indiana. I went through an invitation, and this guy took me. He invited me to go hunting, so I stayed in a motel, and he would pick me up, and then we would hunt this ranch. And one of the guys that lived there, he was in his mid 60s, around my age now, which is 67, and he did get a deer. And the deer there are humongous. So we helped him find it. You know, we were like late afternoon, almost nighttime. Finally, like around 8 o'clock, we find the deer in the brush, thick brush. We find the deer, and he guts it, and he drag it out. And he was dragging the deer along with me. This guy was freaking strong. And I'm going, man, this guy's a mule. You know, it's a farmer. These guys are tough. And and that impressed me. I said, you know, you're an old goat man, but you got power, man, because he could grab that deer by the antlers and trying to help him with him, and he's yanking the deer, and I'm kind of like behind him, actually, not in front, pulling, you know. So he was basically dragging me along with the deer, and this guy was muscled, you know, he was tough. So if you're in shape, doesn't matter about the age. If you're in shape, you can do the hunt. But I got some handicaps that I got to think about, especially when you're alone. If I'm accompanied by somebody else and we get a deer, that's half the weight divided. You know, you get a half, I get a half. I can handle that. Can't handle 150, 180 pound. I can handle 40 to 50. it's gonna be meat. I'm not taking bone or hide or anything. That's very heavy. A deer hide is very heavy, and if it's a nice trophy, of course you got to take the head. You know, at least you got to take the antlers, but you should take the head for identification in case the fishing game shows up and they want to see the deer. So what I'm planning on doing is that last year, no, early this year, around not early, around summertime, I met this kid in his 20s that he wants to go into hunting. He was asking me, my friend said, "Oh, talk to him. He knows about guns, he knows about hunting, talk to him." So he was asking him about what's the right gun and what's the right caliber. So I told him, I gave him my opinion. Everybody got a different opinion, and everybody has a preferred caliber. I am not a 38.6 guy. I like the 270, the 308, and the 7 mag for different types of terrain, different types of hunt. For instance, if you're gonna go into deep woods, 308, perfect round. It'll go through brush. If you're gonna be in an open area, far distance for either deer or antelope, 270 is excellent. And then if you're gonna go to elk, 270 could do it, but it's better to take a 7 mag with 160. They do make 160. Let me see something. So what I'm thinking of doing is how I want to meet that guy again. I want to see if I can get a hold of him. And I want to say, listen. Yeah, here we go. See, guys, when I say something, I like to say facts, not fiction. Remington 7mm mag, 160. And now this is to reload. You can get speeds up to 2900 up to 3000. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 3,000 foot per second. The highest one is 3,077. That's a sure elk kill, no problem. If you want to make sure that you want to get an elk and put him down, not let him run a couple of mountains, and then you gotta chase him down. You want him to drop. 150 could do it too, but I'd be more at ease with 160 grain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to take my Ruger, the Ruger American, and when I'm going to show him to this kid. And this is a 308. And I said, okay, look, I'm selling this gun because I want to start getting rid of some things. And I said, okay, I'll sell you this gun. It's a backpacking gun, very light. If you go with me hunting, backpacking. Then, if he likes the idea, I'll see if I can sell him one of my packs. So that's three birds. The sale of the gun, a partner to go hunting, and a pack. So, three birds with one stone. So that way, I can still hunt with my other 308. I'm going to transfer my 308 scope because it's programmed for 150 grain, and I'm going to put that back in my Browning lever. And that was my very first gun. I'm attached to a gun. With the Ruger, I have no sentiments about it. It's a lightweight gun. It's a good gun. Very easy, smooth and everything. But I have no attachment to it. I recently got a noise. It's a tube put in the front. It's called what is it? Deflector. It's a noise deflector. So when you shoot, the noise goes forward, not around and hits you in the ear. I'm gonna leave it with that. That's gonna be an additional tidbit for the gun to have more appeal to sell. And I'm gonna sell it at the same price I bought it at, because that gun probably haven't shot more than 40 rounds, so it's new. The sling and everything is going with it. It's got the sticky, the non-stick, So, and I'm gonna keep the lever, which I love the gun, and the gun is a very good. It's an accurate gun, and I can still hunt with that one. It's a pound heavier than the Ruger, but if I'm not going backpacking, um, I can go backpacking with that rifle, you know. And if I'm gonna go shoot, if I'm gonna go in open long areas, I'll take the 270. And I'm pretty sure about that gun. I have no second thoughts about it. Whatever I aim, I hit, and I hit right on the money. And I'll take that gun with me. And I usually take two guns. I always take two guns, just in case you damage one, you fall, let's say, you damage the scope, you lose your adjustment. That's something I'm planning on doing. And then on the other stuff, I'm gonna take it to this gun shop, and they have this auction online, and they can probably sell it, decent price. I'm not planning on acquiring anything more. The 7 millimeter Magnum. It's a very good gun, very very good gun. But it's not a gun that I wanna carry. It's heavy. It's 9 pounds. 9 pounds from now you nine nine, what is it, 9.4, I think, with the ammo. And then the other miscellaneous that I have, those knickknacks and whatever, I'll see if I can sell it to one of these guys that want to start hunting. I got another tripod that attaches to the rifle, so you can have an accurate shot, and it pivots and it tilts, so I already have the other one, the Magpod, I think it's called. Let me see. Yeah, this one here. This one, I really like it. I use it, and I use it a lot as a walking stick because I need the balance, and it helps me. It really does. And it's adjustable. The whole thing pops up and down, and so, and it also when you I don't know if you know this about this particular unit. It This is as far as it opens, but if you're flat on the ground, facing down, and you're gonna shoot, you still want the rest. You turn this cup here, and check it out. Now it goes almost flat to the ground. You set it down, you put your gun there, and you're back in business. So it's got multi-use, and I like it. And then when you click it back in, it unlocks itself. Goes to the original position. So I'm keeping this one. I'm selling the other one. And I'm gonna start selling some things that. And this is removable too. You hit this little deal here. Let's see where to go. Heal that. You click it down, and this comes off. And then there's another piece here that's it's a binocular attachment. You attach it to the binocular, and then you have a place to rest. But usually, what I do, I just put the binoculars on this, and then I can just do that and pivot. So I don't switch them. I don't know where the other piece is at. It's in the drawer there somewhere. So I'm keeping this. Because it's a double function with me, triple function, Now, the only thing about this one that is that this one in particular, it doesn't go long enough to shoot standing up because it goes only to there. So when you set it down, see, if I'm sitting on a rock, then it's fine because I can put it there and it's in good shooting position. But if I'm standing up, it has to be taller. And I didn't get that one because then you're hauling this massive thing. I seen hunters take it, but when was the last time you shot standing up like that? Usually you gotta lean against something, lean against a tree, a rock, whatever. So um, I'm just gonna show them the stuff and see what they want to buy. I got walkie-talkie radios I don't use because I'm by myself. So who am I gonna talk to? Things like that. I'm gonna start consolidating because when you're into the sport, you keep buying, you keep buying, you keep adding, and you keep getting tents. I got 3 tents. I gave away a big one that fits about 5 people. I gave that to my niece kids when they go camping. Um, I got two. Let's see, one, two, three. I got four. I got 4 tents for backpacking. And the last one that I bought, I bought it at a army surplus. I love going to those places. And they had one there that was 3.4 pounds. And I'm going, what? Single person. So the Morris tent that I have, I still do have it. It's up there. That one weighs, with the undercover, the whole thing weighs 6 pounds. So I didn't want to carry that weight. I went to the surplus. Let me see what they have here, and I started walking around. Boom, and I found one, and I brought it home and opened it up. And man, I mean, it's not a palace. You're gonna be tight in there, single man. But it's so small. You can put it in your pocket, man. This thing, just shove it in there, put the sticks on the side. No pouch, no nothing. You're good to go. You don't need to. It's self-standing. You don't need the little sticks on the ground, the aluminum sticks. Nope, I don't take those because where I would pack in, and I would camp next to this tree behind this rock, and the wind. I was deflected from the wind. It was protected from the wind. The tent never tried to take off, and with the stuff I had in there, it would stay down. If I need to take some sticks, I would take maybe four, one for each corner. That's it. So the other tents are gonna go. The reason I bought the Morrison because my lady said, "Oh, but I want one space for me," and she never goes with me. So I got something for nothing. I mean, I can't use it the way it's supposed to be a two-man tent. It's supposed to be comfortable with 2 people. She never wants to go. She's afraid of the bears. I don't know what the problem is. So so yeah, I'm gonna start selling some things that I'm not using because I don't like to have things around that I don't use. Like the coolers, I got a big one here for fishing. That's for the boat. And then I got the Coleman, which is pretty good. And then I got the Ozarks Trail. Yeah, that one I got that at Walmart. I did some tests and it it won't hold ice for more than a day. You're lucky if you get 2 days out of it. So what I do is I take the Coleman with the bags of ice that it'll keep for 5 days or so. Put all the food in the Ozarks, the eggs, and if you're taking bacon or if you're taking sausage or fruits and whatever, and put them in there. And sandwiches, I take sandwiches in a seal bag, put them in there, and throw ice on top of it to keep the ice, to keep the food cold. But my backup ice, it's in the other cooler, And you're saying, well, why are you taking two? Why don't you just take it in one? Well, because if I do get a deer, I need to have room to put the meat in there. And if I need to take out the sodas and stuff, I can do that and put them in the little refrigerator. But if I'm taking perishable foods like meats and stuff, eggs, they need to be in a cool place. So I have that separate in my little cooler. So also, I got a Ruger 22 and I got a Marlin 22. Well, I'm gonna sell the Marlin. They're going for about 250. This Marlin is new. I think I've shot maybe, Jesus, 100 rounds, maybe. A gun is new, but I'm not shooting with it. I keep the Ruger. That Ruger's been with me since the 70s. Um, I also got a Remington 1100 shotgun that I used to take duck hunting and goose hunting. I don't do that anymore. I think I'm gonna sell that too. It's got chokes and everything. I used to go dove hunting with that 12 gauge. It's a little heavy to be walking around. But for dove hunting, I got a 20 gauge. So I'm keeping that one. You're not using it, just sell it. Let somebody enjoy it. You know, there's no reason to be hugging stuff that is not being uh, used and enjoyed. I got a lot of stuff like 3 or 4 lighters, and for hunting. What do you need so many lighters? I'm gonna, get rid of those too. Um, canteen, canteens. I have about 2 metal ones, one plastic one. Cooking pots. I got several of those for all this stuff is for backpacking. It's not for a camper. So I have a real nice kit that it pops shut and it's got the frying pan and it's got the pot, got the folding handle. It's got the copper bottom, not the tin can that they have now, aluminum and stuff. No, this is the real solid, real nice stuff. So I'm gonna sell that. I'm gonna sell that too. Um, the jet boil, I only got one. I'm gonna keep that one because if you're backpacking in bear country, you don't want to be cooking bacon, man. Bacon and eggs. It sounds very nice. Have that in the morning with a cup of coffee, but you don't want that bear knocking at your door. When I went to gas up on the way back, I was at this gas station. This sheriff shows up. I think he was getting gas. I don't remember what he was doing there. Oh, he went in to get something to drink, or some sort of something. Pulled behind me, and he sees me in camouflage. I'm over here getting something to drink and kind of changing my boots and stuff, getting ready for the road. And he says, "Have you been hunting?" I feel like saying, "Here's your sign," because I'm camouflage. What do you think I'm doing? No, but he says, "You seen any bears?" And I said, "No, but I found a tent that was destroyed by a bear." And he goes, "There's bears everywhere." And I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, there's bears up there everywhere." And I go, "Oh, I didn't see that." But apparently he goes bear hunting. And yeah, we chatted for a minute, and they said, better luck next time, and took off. Um, the area, if you saw the video, I liked it. It's a very appealing area. I have to kind of like start discounting. If I'm gonna be doing road hunting only, or I'll take the quad. Or the thing that I when I was walking up the road, and I said, you know what, this will be perfect to take an e-bike and just drive quietly up those roads, because there some of them are hilly. So I said it would be nice instead of the quad. It would be nice. Well, in fact, you couldn't take the quad in there because it has a gate. The gate was closed, and you can't go around it because you got a hill up here and you got the river down here, the stream, and there's no way of going around it. So, a bike, yeah, you can just walk it around the pipe gate, get on it, you know, And I'm kind of playing with the idea of that because then when you get to a spot that you want to hunt, you pull off, you put the bike down, you know, put some bushes or something so nobody can steal it if somebody there, because that's always a possibility. And then you just walk in and you say, okay, I'm gonna hunt this area, this trail. And if you do get a deer, you're gonna gut it, you're gonna quarter it, put it in your pack. Instead of walking all the way back with that weight, you can drive back with the bike. Also, hang on a second. Okay, this is something else I've owned for a long time and never used. It is this plastic sleigh. You see the holes there, so you can put a rope in it, and you can put the deer. And I should have bought the one for the deer. This is for elk, exaggerated. And you can drag this behind the bicycle. If the bicycle has some power, some of them have a lot of power, and you can just put the whole carcass of the deer, tie it up like a sleigh, and drag it behind you. That's you know, I was thinking of doing this for pigs, doing it behind the quad, because that's something I want to do also. I want to go pig hunting to this area where the quad is going to be necessary because it's a lot of walking up there, and then you just get off and do some hunting. If you do get a pig, you can lay it down on this thing, tie it to the back of the quad, and drag the pig back to the camp. That's another way of doing it. So there's different ways. I seen a guy in a video that he caught a deer, and he had an e-bike, and he had a little sleigh, not a sleigh. He had a one wheel little you call it a trailer, I guess. He hooked it to the hitch of the bike, of the bicycle, the e-bike. Put the deer in there, the whole deer, got it, of course, and he just drove out with the deer sitting on I think it was an 18-inch wheel or something, and it was like a cradle. So it has a double rod system that you attach it to the back of your bicycle. You click it, tighten the bolts, and wherever you're turning, that thing goes with you. And he was. This is not to go across country, of course. This is to be on a road or a trail, a good trail. And he was pulling it back to the vehicle. I mean, that's another. You gotta come up with solutions. If you can't handle the weight by yourself and you're alone, you gotta come up with some solutions. And I was kind of tossing that around also. The e-bikes are going for about $2,000. You know, you put some money down, you pay it on payments. It doesn't have to be all cash or anything. So, yeah. But all the other guys I know, the retired hunters, and one of them wants to hunt turkey, but we don't know where to go because the place that I used to go is shut down. I called the other day, and then there's a recording that said the ranch is closed. So, but I used to go there for turkey and Thanksgiving, and kill a turkey, bring it home, prepare it. Did that a couple of times. Qué linda mi mamacita, baby. Oh, my little sweetie. Oh, oh yeah. And this is my little sweetie girl, my little baby. Hi. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. How are you? She's doing better. She's taking medicine, and she's not bleeding as much, so we're hoping. Que linda. Oh, she's so spoiled. Give me kiss, kiss. Huh? She's the cutest thing. Look at this. She likes to. I'm in the office and she comes over and she stands on two legs and then she gets on my leg and she starts blinking like she's sleeping. She wants to sleep on top of me. It's incredible. She's. Yeah? Already? Okay. Want to go back? Okay, so I put her back in the yard. She only wants to get on top of me for a minute. That's it. It just jumps off. I think it was Jason asked me. He asked me a while back, can I do a story on my trophies? And I can't do a story on all of them in one shot because they're all quite a story. I'm gonna do a story on them, but not now. I have to prepare. 308, 270, 270, 308, 308, and I got antlers in a container there that I still got to mount on a little velvet because I don't want the whole head. I don't have room. And I got one in Indiana, whitetail, and another one, a 4-pointer, California also. But they all have quite a story. And those are the memories. When you keep a trophy, some people say, "Oh, you're a killer." It's if you're not a hunter, you wouldn't understand. And why try to explain it to somebody that doesn't know, doesn't have the experience, cannot relate, never done it. It's a different mindset. Some people get um, uneasy. You know, I'm not going to say disgusted, but they get uneasy. They say, "Oh, you shot that," and but they think that you're My niece one told me, my goddaughter actually told me, "Oh, you go out there and you're killing Bambi." Like, first of all, that's not a Bambi. Bambi's supposed to be a little deer. I don't kill a little deer. Legal. Second of all, that Bambi that you're calling a Bambi is killing me because if you knew what I have to go through to get to where they are, the hardship, the climbing, the cramps, the dragging back down and everything, it's a lot of work. It's not easy, but the people that never done it, they don't know what it's about, and then immediately they give you that look. A long time ago, I went to the store and the guy had this buck. It must have been, I think it was an 8-pointer, and he had it up on the wall. And he looked, I'm looking up and I'm admiring this trophy. It's a beautiful deer. And I said, "Oh wow, where'd you get it?" And this is a long time ago when there used to be a river that it wasn't cemented. I'm talking way back. This was an old guy. And he said, "Oh, I caught him down at the river." And I said, "Wow," and I said, "It's beautiful." And he goes, "Yeah." He says, "But I wish I've never shot him." And I never understood that. Say, why is he saying that? Because it's a beautiful animal, and if that animal was dead by natural causes of old age, which is only 9 8 9 years tops, then that animal would have been destroyed. There would be no trace of him, no pictures, nothing. And now the head is there. You can admire. You can see how beautiful he was, what size he was, how wild, everything. So when he said that, he kind of felt bad, and I understand it. I do, because when you shoot something, you shoot an animal, you do feel, at least in my case, you do feel a, you feel sorry you did it. Um, I got, I don't mind saying this, but I'm not ashamed to say it, but I got teary eyed one time when I shot a deer because he was such a good looking, healthy animal. I still got meat that I have here. And I gave meat to my brother in law and to my roofer. You know, everybody enjoy the meat. It's not wasted, it's not thrown out. But you do feel bad after you shoot a beautiful animal. Some people do, some people don't. And I'm not blaming anything or anybody. If you don't feel anything for the animal you shot, well, you know, it's all about your mindset. And it all depends how it happened. Um, on some animals, they squeal or they you hear a sound and that kind of touches you. That kind of, as a human, you say, "Oh, he's suffering." If you shoot him and he drops, then it's a lot better because he doesn't know what hit him. There's no suffering, and that's my mindset. I want to drop him where he's at. I don't want him suffering. I don't want him running. I saw a video of a guy that shot a deer. I think it was with a bow, and the arrow went through him. Right, he had a big hole. The deer just stood around, and I said, "Ah, he missed." He didn't miss. The deer ran, and he waved his little tail, and then he sat down to die there. That hurt me more than if I shoot an animal and he drops right there because I know he's not suffering. So the animal felt something weird that happened and something went through him, and then he laid down. He got sleepy or dizzy, losing blood, and he laid down. And you know, that kind of bothered me a little bit. It wasn't a clean kill, but with a bow, you're not going to get a clean kill. He's not going to drop. It always happens that you shoot him, it goes through, and the deer runs. Sometimes with a gunshot. I know a guy that shot a deer through the heart with a 30-30, and the deer ran almost 100 yards through the heart. The adrenaline, you know, and then he finally collapsed. We went and got him, but all these animals they have stories. The way it happened with me, I shot him, but when I went to him, he was still alive, and that was with a 130 grain 270. And after I finished my batch of 130, I haven't loaded that bullet again because I don't think 130 is adequate. I'm loading 140s, and that 140 is a lot better than 130. That's it. That's 140 right there with a little open tip. You gotta pick the right ammo to have the right effect. Um, I seen videos of guys that they have their sights on a deer that is laying down resting in the afternoon or midday behind a rock or under a tree, and those guys just sit there and wait for the deer to get up and move. And that's very ethical. You don't want to shoot an animal that's sitting down, laying there. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Me as a hunter, I don't do that. I wait for the deer to get up and move. And if the deer is with a fawn and a doe, It's a family. Something about me that says, don't shoot him. It's he's still breeding, he's still producing, and I want to shoot mature deers. Of course, you're not going to have the opportunity to pick and choose. You're going to say, "No, I want it like this. And I want it." This is not a restaurant. You can place an order. Although sometimes I do that. I said, I want it like this and I want it like that. No, it doesn't happen that way. But if it's a little spiky, I mean, not a spiky, it's a little forky, let him pass. Let him go. This last time I went, not this year, but the last year I went to this area and there were some people out there. They were fucking poaching. And the fishing game wasn't around. You know, that place is already destroyed. They're killing everything. I didn't see a head of female or male in the camp. And they have 4 carcasses on the tables and they were cutting in a hurry. And what does that tell you? They were poaching. Shot a doe and they, oh yeah, we got a deer, we got a deer. No. So fishing game has to be in those camps. You don't have to go chase them around. They have to come back to camp. And that's what you catch them. License. Both. Driver's license and hunting license. Make sure they're both the same. Because sometimes there may not be. Things like that happens and there's got to be a better supervision. I'm not going to call it control. I don't want control of anything. I want supervision. And they just haven't have enough fish and game officers to go around. And they want you to have a college education. And I said, for what? To be a fish and game? Oh, we need 2 years. I said, for what? 2 years of what? What are you teaching? Oh, basics. What you need to know math, science, physics. What? If you want to be a fish and game officer, sign up because you already have the inkling to be that type of person. You're going to be in the woods. You're going to be you're going to be a forest officer. You don't need college for that. In my opinion, you don't need college for that. What are they going to teach you in college? Art? That's all they want you to, artsy fartsy shit. You don't need none of that to be a fish and game officers. And that's why they don't have enough people to go around. And then the second thing is they don't pay enough. They pay crap. I mean, you got to make a living out of that. I wouldn't have mind being a long time ago. I looked into it in the 80s, mid 80s. They were paying 14,000. I said, "Are you kidding me? A year? What are you going to do the rest of the year? Starve? It's not enough. I don't know what they pay now. It's probably not enough. That's why they don't have enough people to go around. So being that it's a choosy career, that you have to have this specific mindset to do that job, why are you going to kill it by offering less money than anybody working for, let's say, In-N-Out Burger? Those people are making $24 an hour. So what gives you the incentive to go and sign up and be in the woods in the cold, getting up early in the morning, interrogating people? Some of those guys are kind of criminal looking. The poachers they're doing this and that, and you're gonna go against those people getting paid crap. There's no incentive to do it. I knew a biologist that he was getting paid crap, and he lived in this mobile home park. He says when the season is over and they shut down everything because of the snows are coming and they're closing the trails, and He could not stay there at his mobile home or mobile trailer because he couldn't afford it. So what they would do, a group of them, including some of the department, some of the firemen, they will go down south into Mexico, into those wild beaches down Baja, and they will camp out. They will take supplies, big vehicles loaded with everything, and they will live there for 6 months for the winter. And then when it was ready to open, and the fire season would come back, they would return because they didn't make enough money to stay here. Listen, man, if you're gonna go through all that trouble for something that and he's a biologist. This guy did go to college. You got to report the deer, the amount, the quantity, the health, the size of the herd. They look at the molars and they say how old he is. Like they told me, one of these guys up here was 8 years old. He says he wouldn't have made it for the next winter. Got him in Wyoming. And that made me feel good because I said, okay, I got him after his life. He lived his life. And I got him at the end of his life, not at the beginning. That's why I don't shoot small deer, small antler deer or anything, because you're killing some animal that hasn't begun to live or even reproduce. So when he told me he checked his molar, he goes, "Oh yeah, he's done." And the same thing with the antelope. I got him. I think the antelope lasts the same about 9 years or something. And he said, "Yeah, this guy here also would have been he wouldn't have made it through this winter." So if this guy goes to college to be an animal biologist, to do that type of a job and report to the Fish and Game and all this stuff, and then you're going to pay him crap that he has to leave the country and go to Mexico because he couldn't live here on what he's making? That's bullshit, man. That's bullshit. What do you think I was going to leave my job as a contractor to go to work for an organization that you're only going to get paid, uh, 5 months out of the year, 6 months out of the year? How come they don't do the same thing they do with teachers? Teachers take 3 months, 4 months, 3 months vacation, and they're still getting a good check. They don't have to leave the country. Well, you got to do the same for the guys on the in the forestry, in the Fish and Game department or the forestry service. I know it's seasonal, but you got to make it worthwhile for them to do that. I mean, those guys got to get on horses and go in the back country and do deer counts. And, yeah, it's very nice at the beginning, but when it becomes a job, you got to sleep on the ground and cold and, eat crappy food or whatever. I don't know what they eat, but you know what I'm saying? It's a hardship, and you have to be young and you have to like that kind of thing to do it. At least get a decent salary. So that's why the poachers know that there's not enough of them go around, and they're taking advantage. They're just taking advantage. Nobody else caught deer in that camp. There must have been 40 people there in that camp. And in that particular camp that I went to see, I went to ask about something that had nothing to do with deer. It was about a vehicle that was making a lot of noise early in the morning, around 4:30. I wanted to know who the hell it was. It was big, loud pipes. And I said, that guy is here on purpose, scaring away the deer. Probably some anti-hunter or something. I wanted to know about that guy. If it was official, if it was a Fish and Game or somebody else, or some asshole that came to disrupt the hunt, the opening. When I went to talk to the guy, no, I don't know nothing. And he's cutting the meat. And I said, no, but listen, I want to talk to you about this vehicle. It was a white vehicle, but I didn't see any emblem, any nothing on the door. And it, what do you, no, I don't know. And then he said in Spanish to the other guy, and there were 15 of them in that camp, 15. He told him in Spanish, don't say nothing. So I answered him in Spanish. I said, hey, listen, I'm not a cop. I'm just asking you about this vehicle. And the other guy answered me with, bloodshot eyes. He says, no, no, wait, we got here late, and they must have come from far because they probably drove all night to get there. And he looked beat to hell. But I noticed that this guy here was nervous because he did something illegal, and the illegal thing that he did is that those deers were not bucks, guarantee you. And I was gonna call Fish and Game and complaint, and I said, you know what? The hell with it. They don't care. They just want their money. You pay the tag, and you're good to go. In a camp of 40 something people, nobody cut deer except them. And why? Because 15 of them means that probably 4 of them were hunting. And there's a bunch of young teenagers, 17, 18. And I'm looking, there were like 4 or 5 of them, and I say, what are these kids, And they didn't have guns. Why are they there? To enjoy the hunt and experience the experience? No. They're drivers. They drive the deer to a spot where the other 4 or 5 of them with guns are sitting and waiting, and then they go bum 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 bum, and they got 3 in one day. Don't give me that bullshit though. Okay, so that's what's going on, and I'm very disappointed with what's going on. And that's why if those type of people are showing up to my honey spots, which they are, there is no reason for me to kill myself, pack in, get up early at 4 o'clock in the morning, thinking that I'm ahead of everybody because everybody's camping down 2 miles or maybe 2.5 miles. No, I would say 3 miles away from that main camp. And when I'm walking and I look around, they're already behind me. And some of them are passing me. And I said, I can't compete with that. Because I go slow and steady. I don't want to break a bone and, fall down and hit my face. And, I go nice and easy. I take my breaks. I'm there for the long haul. I stay there for 4 or 5 days, sometimes just 3 days. This last time, because there was a big fire, not this time, but the year before, there was a big fire, and I didn't stay because there was a lot of smoke rolling in. And I said, you know what if the only trail out is on fire, and I know how that trail is with debris, that I made a video about it. If that trail catches on fire, and the whole mountain range catches on fire, I'm going to have to stay there in the middle of a gravel area and hit the ground because the oxygen is gonna stay at the bottom and breathe, because if I get up and move around, I'm gonna choke to death with the smoke. And that's one of the reasons I said, I don't know where this fire is at, but this smoke is rolling into the valley. And I said, I'm done. So that Sunday, I got up and left. I usually stay Monday, Tuesday, sometimes until Wednesday. But I thought, something's going on with this fire. It turns out that it was on the other side of the mountains, the river, the main river. So, but when I saw that and I talked to the people next door and I said, you see anything? He goes, no. And he said, no, they got 3 deer. No, they caught 4 deer. I remember now, 4. Now, how is it that these other guys, a group of 7, there was another group of 5 Filipinos. I had lunch with them. Very nice people. They didn't get anything. They didn't get anything. The other people further up didn't get anything. How come these people got 4? Because that's why it's a big group. They start, and they're used to doing this. And these are the, what I'm talking about. They're used to doing this. They push and push and push, you know. And then whatever pops up, no matter what it is, if it has antlers or not, bang. Why? Because they're not trophy hunters. They're meat hunters. They want meat in the freezer. They don't care about a trophy like hunters, trophy hunters do. If you want meat, that's fine. Go and pull your draw for both sexes. That comes later in the year, like in November, like now, coming up in November. They have both sexes in some areas, not up there, but because I'm looking around. I said this doesn't look like a normal hunting camp with so many people and kids, And I said, what, they're using a different style, a different technique of hunting, and that is, by the way, that's not legal. That's called herding or pushing, whatever. That's not legal. And the Fish and Game came by, and the Filipino told me, oh yeah, it was a woman. She came by and asked me for license for my stove. Stove. She wants the license for the stove. That's all they go, really? That's all they care about. Did they ask you for the license for hunting? No. And now that person went to college for that? Give me a break. Give me a freaking break. That's why, what happened last that time I was up there, that I went in stealthily and very quietly, and I take my stops, and I work in the shadows, and I know this path, and I took it, and it turns out that I was what 50 or 40 feet from a buck on the other side of some brushes. He was grazing in the open. I was on this side sitting on the ground having a snack, and then I hear this noise, and I look, and I see two does kind of not taking off quickly, but they were kind of like getting away from there. And then this guy's coming up the middle of the damn hill in the open, and he goes to me like this. And I said, what's going on? So when he got there, he goes, did you see the deer? I said, what deer? So you had a deer on the other side where you were sitting. So if he wasn't there plowing up that mountain, I would have gotten that deer. Why? Because I got there on my own, slow and easy and quiet. He was with three more guys with radios. Hey, they're over here. They're over here. And coordinating and stuff. You can't compete with. So why am I going to waste my only good hip going up there and killing myself? I can't compete with people like that. I can't. So, all right. It looks like the battery is flashing. It's about to go. So I'm going to say goodbye. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.